Hello and welcome to Unhelpful Guide to Innate and Adaptive Immunity. This video is made by these people. Now let's get started. Immune response. The immune response is how your body recognizes and defends itself against bacteria, viruses, and substances that appear foreign and harmful. The immune system protects the body from possible harmful substances by recognizing and responding to antigens. Antigens are molecules capable of stimulating an immune response. Humans have two types of immune response. It's called innate and adaptive. First, what is innate immunity? The innate immune system is the body's first line of defense against germs entering the body. It responds in the same way to all germs and foreign substances, which is why it is sometimes referred to as the non-specific immune system. It acts very quickly. For example, you injured your hand and it's bleeding. Bacteria that have entered the skin through the wound are detected and destroyed by innate immune system within a few hours. The immune system has only limited power to stop germs from spreading though. And that is the main purpose. The main purpose of the innate immune response is to immediately prevent the spread and movement of foreign pathogens throughout the body.
Now that we have learned about innate immunity, let's talk about adaptive immunity. Well, for starters, adaptive immunity is an immune that responds to specific presence of pathogens that couldn't be killed by innate immunity. They will recognize them and later kills them.
In antibody responses, B cells are activated to secrete antibodies, which are proteins called immunoglobulins. The antibodies circulate in the bloodstream and permeate the other body fluids, where they bind specifically to the foreign antigen that stimulated their production. Binding of antibody inactivates viruses and microbial toxins by blocking their ability to bind to receptors on host cells. Antibody binding also marks invading pathogens for destruction, mainly by making it easier for phagocytic cells of the innate immune system to ingest them. In cell-mediated immune responses, the second class of adaptive immune response, activated T cells, react directly against a foreign antigen that is presented to them on the surface of a host cell. The T cell, for example, might kill a virus-infected host cell that has viral antigens on its surface, thereby eliminating the infected cell before the virus had had a chance to replicate. In other case, the T cell produces signal molecules that activate macrophages to destroy the invading microbes that they have phagocytosed.
So, now that we know about adaptive and innate immunity, what is really the difference between them? Well, we could look at the chart here. Now, we could see the differences on both immunities. We see that innate immunity is on the first line of defense, and adaptive immunity is on the second line of defense. And by how fast the reaction is, it is more fast on innate rather than adaptive immunity. Why? This is because adaptive immunity needs time to identify specific characteristics on pathogens that they have met. It is also because the effect of adaptive immune response is long-lasting, highly specific, and is sustained long-term by memory T cells. The third difference is on antigen dependency, whereas innate is independent and adaptive is dependent. Lastly, we are talking about examples here. So for innate, we have skin, hair, cough, mucous membranes, phagocytes, and granulocytes. For adaptive, we have pus, swelling, redness, pain, and T and B lymphocyte response.
Innate immunity already exists since birth, meanwhile adaptive immunity acquired during lifetime. And also because of this, innate immunity presence always present in the body itself, meanwhile adaptive immunity develop only upon exposure to antigens. Innate immunity fights against any foreign invader and thus is non-specific, just like I said before. Meanwhile, adaptive immunity has the ability to fight against specific infection. For the receptors involved, innate immunity uses receptors that recognize conserved pathogen-associated molecular patterns, or we could call it PMPs for short, such as LPS, flagellin, and nucleic acids. Meanwhile, adaptive immunity uses recombined B and T cell receptors that recognize specific antigens and pathogens. Innate immunity response time occurs rapidly from minutes to hours. Meanwhile, adaptive immunity only occurs over days to weeks. Innate immunity inherited from parents. Meanwhile, adaptive immunity is not. The time span in innate immunity is once activated against a specific type of antigen, the immunity remains throughout the life. Meanwhile, the time span in adaptive can be lifelong or short. Innate immunity functions as recruiting immune cells to sites of infection, activation of the complement cascade to identify antigens, identification and removal of foreign substances present in organs, tissues, blood, and lymph, activation of the adaptive immune system through antigen presentation, and acting as a physical and chemical barrier to infectious agents. Meanwhile, adaptive immunity functions as recognition of specific non-self antigens during the process of antigen presentation, generation of responses that are tailored to maximally eliminate specific pathogens or pathogen-infect cells, and development of immunological memory through memory B cells and memory T cells.
And so, now that we have already discussed about their differences, we would like to thank you for your attention. And this has been an helpful guide to innate and adaptive immunity. Goodbye and have a nice day.